Does anyone here truly believe the Centauri will stop now that they've seized our territory? We are only the beginning! You, all of you, are next!
Look, what happened was between you and the Centauri. It has nothing to do with us.
Not now, but soon it will. Yes, for a moment their guns are silent. But when they realize they've been able to do this to us without interference, their eye will turn to you. You sit in silence today, but tomorrow that will change. Are you willing to sacrifice all that you are to keep all that you have?
Jakar, this is pointless. Why do you embarrass yourself like this in public?
They must know that our voice can still be heard. In the streets in their sleep, we must keep reminding the others that we exist. We are still here. If they forget about us, then we are truly beyond rescue.
All right, you ready for this?
Yep.
Hi, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Matt.
And this is
We Are All Kosh.
a Babylon 5 podcast. Alrighty, ready to talk about Babylon 5 Season 2, Episode 21, Comes the Inquisitor. Immediate thoughts right off the bat. How do you feel about this episode?
It's all right.
Putting you on the spot.
You were like, oh, great, the Jack the Ripper episode. And I feel like you could have taken out the last 30 seconds where they reveal he's Jack the Ripper.
You could have made it not Jack the Ripper, and it would
didn't
have
have
been
to be Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
But an interesting take to say Jack the Ripper was a true believer in as like a warrior of good.
Of rightness. What he believed was rightness.
And he believed he was making a positive influence on the world by what he did to correct, I don't know, society's downward spiral.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Even though that was wrong. And he realized it was wrong after the Vorlons explained it to him.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, that made him adequate to evaluate whether other people were also true believers, that they were having a positive impact on the downward spiral of civilization.
Okay, I think I should probably preface my feelings about this episode with my feelings about Jack the Ripper in general. And here's my problem with including Jack the Ripper in this episode, is you are bringing a lot of prepackaged baggage to what could have otherwise been a very powerful moment for Delenn.
Yeah.
I think the concept of actually interrogating your motivations before you embark on a possibly fatal mission for both you and the people that you get to follow you, like ensuring that someone who you are basically setting up to be a cult leader is really in it for the right reasons,
right,
is a good idea. Like I like that as a concept. I like that as a plot line. I like that as a thing that we confront is, you know, we tend to believe, okay, well, this person has been presented to us as the person who's going to lead the revolution. So like, okay, like I have no further questions, Your Honor.
And I would also say this isn't just the Vorlons getting some confidence that Delenn and Sheridan are the correct people to lead this war, but it's also a crucible for Delenn and Sheridan to clarify to themselves internally what their real motivations are.
Yes.
What are they willing to sacrifice and acknowledging that.
Yeah.
Like deliberately.
If this had been angled as I'm forcing you to examine your own motivations and for you to choose to continue doing it, knowing why you're doing it, I would be fine with this. But hey, I have kept alive this historical figure for the last 500 years so that they could mansplain to you your own motivations in a way that gets you to realize by pissing you off enough that you are actually doing this for the right reason so that you don't have to question yourself later.
Right.
Fucking why? Fucking why Jack the Ripper, right? And a lot of, and we're going to get to it because I'm about to do my list and then we'll get there, but a lot of forum space was devoted to the Jack the Ripper element of this episode. And a lot of it was basically JMS telling people, I do what I want, so fuck off. Which, okay, yeah, you write it. I get it. It's fine. But also, that's the laziest piece of bullshit I have ever heard in my entire fucking life. I hate Jack the Ripper. I hate everything to do with Jack the Ripper. I hate Jack the Ripper theories. I hate Jack the Ripper podcasts. I hate Jack the Ripper. I hate the fact that we have remembered this man with so much detail for so long when there are far worse people in this world who have done far worse things to women and to other people. And yet, for some reason, Jack the Ripper occupies this mental space in the zeitgeist that he never deserved in the first place. And we can't fucking let it go. Okay?
Yeah, I think my take on why Jack the Ripper captures so much attention is, I think, exemplary of the concept when you're creating stories that you don't go into, well, when you're explaining how things work, when you're explaining the history, whatever, you leave deliberate gaps for the reader to fill in themselves.
Right.
And because the whole Jack the Ripper thing was never solved contemporarily, there's a lot of space for people to fill in with their imaginations. And so it's a fertile breeding ground for people to make up stories with.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's why he sticks around, but there are millions of other unsolved mysteries we could have. I fucking can't. I can't. The only time I have legitimately interacted with Jack the Ripper where it has not caused me a severe outpouring of just indignation and rage is there was a podcast based on a book by Hallie Rubenhold, and it was called, I believe, The Five. And she actually talked about the women who were murdered instead of Jack the Ripper.
Right.
And she was like, I'm not going to put forward any theories. I'm not going to talk about who Jack the Ripper was. I literally don't give a shit who Jack the Ripper was. I want to clear the names of the women who were murdered because they have been reduced to prostitutes. That we don't know anything but their name and the mistaken belief that they were sex workers, where in fact most of them were not. And so I enjoyed that podcast immensely because it went through the history of every one of the victims and didn't talk a lick about Jack the Ripper. And that was A-okay with me. And I think it's behind a paywall now, or I went to listen to it again and I couldn't find it, but it was really well done. If you happen to find it, I highly recommend it. The book is really good too. But we're going to talk about this episode, and I'm going to try to not let my feelings about Jack the Ripper color how I talk about it. But honestly, I can't make that guarantee because to me, this feels like the wrong decision. You could have had him be an anonymous person. You could have had him be anyone from the entire history of the human race besides fucking Jack the Ripper. You could have had someone who documented was believed they were doing the right thing, but for the wrong reasons. You could have had a cult leader. You could have had literally anyone. And you chose a guy who we don't know why he was murdering those women. We don't even know if it was the same guy who murdered all those women.
Right.
You just chose some random guy. And then you tried to make me feel bad for him because he didn't know he wasn't doing it for the right reasons. And as soon as somebody told him he was doing it for the wrong reasons, he knew he was doing it for the wrong reasons.
And he felt really bad about it.
And he felt really bad about it. And he's been being punished for hundreds of years now, you guys. I really feel bad for Jack. And I would honestly have felt better about it if I had not just read JMS defend his decision for like, I don't know, probably a page and a half. And then be like, hey, anybody want to hear about my theories about who the Jack the Ripper was? But I don't fucking want to know who you think. The whole time he was like, I just picked Jack the Ripper at random. It was fine. Like, I don't know. I didn't realize other people were doing a Jack the Ripper thing. Like, I just did it because, like, I don't know, it felt right. Then he was like, hey, guys, you want to hear my theory about Jack the Ripper? And I was like, oh, it was at random, huh? It wasn't because you were, reading a book about Jack the Ripper? I don't even know. I'm going to go. This got a P5 rating of 8.47.
So lower than last episode.
My confidence in the P5 rating is falling rapidly. 8.47, you guys?
This is way
Seriously?
better if you leave off, if you just cut it short. Like City of Angels. You just cut it off.
Yeah,
cut off
they
the
get
end.
together, they have sex, and then they live happily ever after, and she never ever leaves the house ever
It's
again.
a better
The
story.
end. Yes. Or Moulin Rouge. Curtain falls, turn the DVD off. Just be done.
Yep.
Be finished. You don't need the rest of it. It's perfectly fine. Yeah, it's not. You know what would be good? Wait. Here's my. If we took this Jack the Ripper, this actor, Sebastian, this particular character, and transplanted him into the Forever Night Jack the Ripper episode. So instead of Jack the Ripper just being like a evil monster guy who has no lines of dialogue, we actually got an intelligent Jack the Ripper vampire character.
Yeah.
Now that would be perfect. Like, I would watch the shit out of that because I'm not expecting anything from Forever Night. When Forever Night gave me the Jack the Ripper episode, I was like, yeah, of course. Sure. I mean, yeah, okay. And when we got the Native American mysticism episode, I was like, of course he found a Native woman who can take his darkness with her shamanic powers or whatever. Yeah, okay. Like, I have zero expectations, right? I have high expectations for Babylon 5. And so when you hit me with the Jack the Ripper episode, I'm like, God, lazy ass bullshit is what it feels like. Because everyone was doing Jack the Ripper episodes. Right. And someone pointed out to him, like, hey, you did the plague episode, and now you did a Jack the Ripper episode. And he was like, you don't get to tell me what to do. And that was basically all of the posts. He was like, oh, am I not supposed to use spaceships or lasers or aliens or other planets now because other shows are using those too? Am I supposed to cut them? Like, that's not apples to apples, JMS. Nobody's talking about that. There's basic tropes in sci-fi that we all accept will happen. Mm-hmm. And when they don't, it's a pleasant surprise. And when they do, nobody gives a shit. But you time traveled Jack the Ripper from 1888 to Babylon 5 via your plot device race. Mm-hmm. And you really thought no one was going to be big mad about it. And now you're big mad because everybody got mad about it. Take the L, bro. Take it with some grace, okay? Mm-hmm. It was a bad choice. I think we can all agree retrospectively, this is a dumb choice, especially when he's lecturing Delenn. And he's like, oh, did you think you were the chosen one? You're not. Guess what?
I think that is a valid way to challenge.
No, it is fine. It is Jack the Ripper saying that.
Right,
yes.
right. I think the Sebastian character was great at the Delenn, Sheridan, like, clarify your cause.
Right. I have no problem with that plot line. I have the problem with adding in
that person being Jack the Ripper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's and then not only that, but they put him in like period clothing.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Did they preserve that too? Did they have him in a tank and then next to him is a little wardrobe? And there's one Vorlon who's like super into cosplay and he makes him little outfits and he's like, can I wake him up and have him try these on? They're like, God, okay, fine. Yeah, wake him up. Who else do they have on ice? Do they have Walt Disney? Is that where Walt Disney is? Do they have Walt? How better of an episode would this have been if it was Walt Disney? History only remembers me as Walt. Okay. Anyway, this was directed by Mike. Oh, sorry. It was originally aired in 10/25/1995, October. It was directed by Mike Lawrence Vahar, who also directed They're All Honor Lies. So we've already chatted about him. And he goes on to do quite a few other things for this particular series. Wayne Alexander is the guy who plays Sebastian. He's going to play Lorien, who we haven't met yet, but he's a fairly pivotal character coming up. And he's played by this guy. And JMS was like, yeah, he did like a really fucking good job, which he did. He did do a good job. And he was like, he had such a good accent that British people couldn't tell that that wasn't his native accent or whatever, which he calls him British, but I don't actually think I don't know if he's British or not. I don't know if he had another British accent and he adopted like a upper class London accent. But anyway, he was like, I'm sure he's going to go on and do lots of other things. He does not. He does not go on and do a lot of other things. He actually went on to play in Babylon Park, Fright Space, just like Lita did.
Yeah.
As Nyarlathotep. He also played in nothing else. The thing he's in most is Babylon 5, and he hasn't been in anything since 2013, but I couldn't see if he'd passed away or not.
Okay.
So he could have just been like, fuck it, and retired. Jack Keller is the guy who plays Mr. Chase. He's the arms dealer.
Yep.
This is his only Babylon 5 episode, but he's a little bit like John Kapelos, where he's been in like 150 million things. And every time you see him, you're like, oh, that guy. But you can't ever really pin down what you know him from.
Yep.
He passed in 2022, so he has passed away. He was in Ferris Bueller, the TV series. Continuing my belief that we need a podcast that is about movies that have a TV series that you didn't know had a TV series.
Yeah.
He's also the banker in Waterworld, the guy who's like weighing the dirt.
That's where I remember him from.
Yeah. I fucking love Waterworld. We've watched Waterworld so many times. We had some friends over, and Waterworld was on Tubi, and I was like, heck, let's put on Waterworld. And they were like, oh my God, I love Waterworld. So it is my belief that everyone secretly loves Waterworld, but you're like, you can't say it because the public sentiment is still so negative against Waterworld.
Because the oil executives didn't like it?
I think everyone secretly loves Waterworld. I mean, why would Waterworld, the effects show, still have been on at Universal Studios for so long? If everyone wasn't like, oh yeah, Waterworld. I mean, I hate that movie, but we could watch it. It'd be fine. He was also in 6 episodes of The Man in the High Castle, which was the thing he was in the most of. That was his like big role.
So he's mostly just one-off.
Yeah.
Characters.
And he was also in Lethal Weapon, the TV series. He was also played a voice in the Waterworld video game, which I didn't know there was a Waterworld video game, but he voices himself, like the banker or whatever. Diane Adair is the only other person I wrote down because there's not a lot of, I mean, I should have done the Narn that talks to Jakar, but it's hard for me to tell when they're only show up as like special guests or also featuring or whatever. Sometimes it means they're like in the background, and sometimes it means they have a lot of lines. It's really hard to say. But I did do the Narn mother specifically because she's also the Marcab mother.
Right.
And she's Mila Shar, the like fish lady ambassador. Apparently this episode had a feature in the official Babylon 5 magazine, which I have now learned there was an official Babylon 5 magazine. The official Babylon 5 magazine was a UK monthly publication by Titan Magazines, and it was published from August 1997 to July 2000. And I kind of feel like maybe I need to find a couple issues and put them on the shelf next to my Playgirl that has the Forever Night article in it, because I buy these magazines for the articles.
The Waterworld video game was released on the Virtual Boy.
Oh no. Are you kidding me?
It was released on a bunch of different platforms.
The Virtual Boy. So it was in red. My only interaction with the Virtual Boy.
Apparently the unpublished versions for the Sega Saturn, Atari Jaguar, 3DO, and PlayStation never got released. But it was released on the SNES, Virtual Boy, MS-DOS, Microsoft Windows, and regular Game Boy.
Wow. I kind of feel like finding it now.
The game received widespread negative reviews, and the version released for the Virtual Boy is generally considered to be the worst game of the 22 released games.
Oh my God. Oh my God. The only interaction I ever had with the Virtual Boy was Best Buy had like how you could go
My
play.
uncle had one.
Well, you could go play
Mhm.
video games. Well, they had a Virtual Boy that you could play, but you had to like squanch your face up against it because it was like the visor thing, and it
Yeah.
always smelled like ass. Like all I can remember is being like, I really want to play this, but somehow it is always vaguely damp and smells like ass, and I just could never. Of course, your uncle had one. That is hysterical. They only released 22 games for the Virtual Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, come on. It was like,
It was super expensive.
and it was challenging because it was 3 dimensions,
Mhm.
but only kind of. It kind of reminds me of the Animaniacs. I had the Animaniacs game for the SNES, and they tried to do like there's 3 levels of depth to this show to the levels, and it was like I don't know. Am I forward of the rock that I'm going to hit, or am I behind the rock that I'm going to hit, or am I going to hit the rock? Like, I don't know where I am because it was 3D, but only in like you can tell it's farther back because it's slightly higher than the rest of it. Yeah. Anyway, we're old. Apparently they also produced information they like released information in there about the upcoming Babylon 5 role-playing game. Can you imagine a B5 tabletop RPG? What I want it to be is like that one where you're all the voices in somebody's head.
Oh, we're all Jack.
We're all Jack or we're all John, I think.
Yeah.
I want it to be like that, except you have to choose which character and you're all the mental illness in his head. So you're either like you're Londo or we are all Londo, we are all Jakar, and you just choose a character and then I think it's like a one-off. You just roll to see if you get to be in charge and make them do stupid stuff until they get killed, and then the game is over.
Yep.
Anyway, as Sheridan talks to Sebastian while seeing him off, he mentions the date. And then I mentioned this while we were watching it, is that he actually said West End, but it's the East End.
Mm-hmm.
And JMS, like a lot of forum space was dedicated to that. And he was like, I'm sorry. I looked it up. I wrote it down wrong. I thought they would correct it. I didn't get around to correcting it. I figured somebody else would know about Jack the Ripper and they'd fix it. And they didn't. Blah, 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 blah. But they redubbed him, so he says East End, which on Tubi, he says East End. But you can clearly see his lips go West. But he says East End.
And then the subtitles
are still West. Which, at the time, if you had a caption machine, it said West.
Oh,
and he was like, oh, shoot, I forgot about the captions. Because someone was like, the captions still say West. And he was like, whatever. And he's basically like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And apparently the version that they released on Netflix, when it was on Netflix, used the original audio. So he said West. And his lips said West and everything said West. But in the HBO version that they released, where the HBO like upscaled version, he said East. So I don't know. It's sort of like whatever. If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have known because I care that little about Jack the Ripper. And though it never made it to print, the Book of War, the canceled 12th issue of the Babylon 5 comic book series, would have revealed that Marcus Cole was the ranger that was sent to the Narn homeworld, which is another character we haven't met yet, but is going to be big. He's going to be big. Marcus Cole, Lorien, they're going to show up eventually. I'm not giving you a spoiler. I'm just telling you names, so it's fine. He's the one who obtained the family messages for Jakar.
Okay.
This episode contains the first definitive statement regarding Vorlon interference in human history. On future occasions, characters will later explain strange occurrences with an explanation that involved Vorlon snatching people from various places, for example, in the Day of the Dead. Which makes me wonder, could we have a Babylon 5 communion crossover? The movie with Christopher Walken where he was like, aliens abduct me all the time. And Andreas is in it. Maybe they took Andreas.
Ooh, maybe Andreas was undercover.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm saying.
Or Jakar was undercover.
There's an opening
as
here.
a human.
There's an opening here for a crossover. If they are the ones who've been snatching people, abducting people for years. I'm just saying. The Sebastian's quote about laying down one's life is from the New Testament. I think anybody who's even remotely read the Bible probably knows that one. No greater love hath a man than he lay down his life for his friends. I mean, a lot of people who say they've read the Bible haven't. But let me just say that one's definitely in there because I remember that one. One of the Narn in the meeting with Jakar is played by Dennis Michael, who was a CNN reporter who was apparently there doing a story on Babylon 5 makeup. And they put him in Narn makeup and put him in the episode.
Aw.
That's so cute. Can you imagine? Be like, oh yeah, I'm going to be a Babylon 5. This is going to be great. John Flynn, who is the cinematographer for this episode, got a nomination for an Emmy for this particular episode, which, sure, there's a lot of really dramatic lighting in this.
Mm-hmm.
But then JMS went on to talk about why they hadn't gotten any other nominations. And apparently the year that they had, they made their own videotapes and sent them off to be considered.
Mm-hmm.
Like they submitted themselves into the running.
But
And
Warner Brothers got upset.
yeah, Warner Brothers got mad at them and asked them not to do it anymore. But then they didn't do it either.
Mm-hmm.
So they were not getting submitted. And he was like, I mean, they said that we shouldn't do it because other shows don't do that. But like other shows have a lot more clout and reputation than we do. And so they don't have to do it. But we do have to do it, but like we can't do it. So we just had to sit on our hands and not do what we knew would result in getting more nominations. It's very frustrating, is what he says.
Yeah.
Oh, the pain is necessary because it's easy to consider laying down one's life intellectually. When the pain and the agony bring it home, it's no longer as easy. That's JMS talking about, like, why did he feel like Delenn had to go through this? And he's like, doing things in a refined, gentle, intellectual manner is the sort of thing Delenn is used to, and she can easily handle that. The goal of Sebastian was to try and break her. You don't break someone over a cup of tea discussing philosophical concepts. He was basically just defending his choice to torture her into realizing she's doing the right thing. He said it's easy to put oneself in a grand prophecy to assume one has a destiny. To pay the price for that is something else. Again, anyone can do the former, very few can do the latter. I would argue she's already done that because she did the thing where she made herself half human and effectively lost her position and lost everything.
Yeah.
And so I would argue she's already made a great sacrifice. And also, and I'm just going to say this before we get started, who the fuck do the Vorlon think they are? What makes the Vorlons the arbiters of who gets to be the representative of their destiny or not?
I think that does come up eventually. That the Vorlons are kind of
judgy bitches?
Yeah,
judgy bitches? They're kind of judgy bitches? Yeah, a little bit. That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
When he's like, well, I'm sending someone to test you because I got to know. You got to know what, Kosh? You got to know if I'm going to steal your TV? You got to know what? What do you got to know? What gives you the right to test her? Just because you're older? That doesn't necessarily mean that the race is wiser.
Mm-hmm.
We're definitely making a lot of assumptions here about who the Vorlon are and what role they play in the upcoming conflict simply because they've been here longer.
Right.
Anyway, I'm going to come back to that, I'm sure. Oh, here's where he finally started getting mad at everybody about them saying Jack the Ripper was used too much. Jack the Ripper has been used too much in sci-fi, he quotes very sarcastically. I can almost see the sarcasm from the italics that he used it. He goes, so in other words, if a historical real character has been used in some other venue, if the use of that same character in another wholly different series / show / universe is absolutely, totally, and completely the right thing for that story, one should instead do what's wrong for the story and leave it out. Sorry, don't buy it. I think somebody needs to tell the Vorlons that JMS needs to be sent an Inquisitor to talk about what is right, JMS. I don't think he's right for this story.
You think
at all.
Jack the Ripper was absolutely, totally, and completely the right thing for this story?
Okay, maybe in 1995, when you didn't ask a lot of your shows, you just didn't have the same level of standards. You just didn't. If things weren't consistent, it might have made you frustrated, but like, okay, that's just TV. Who gives a shit? Maybe in 1995, this felt like the right choice. But now it just feels like a gimmick.
Yeah.
And I have to imagine that at the time it felt like a gimmick. But you just went with it. But I'm trying to figure, because I never have liked that he was Jack the Ripper. So I don't have a good, I remember thinking this was okay, and now I'm mad about it. I've always been mad about it, so I don't really know. I can see where he's pumping out these episodes, and I can tell he's being influenced by the shift of TV around him, because we got the plague episode, even though he was like, what? No, I'm not doing the plague episode because everybody's doing the plague episode. Releases a plague episode around the same time that everybody else is releasing a plague episode. Yeah. Oh, no, I don't think that Jack the Ripper is... I think I did Jack the Ripper totally in a vacuum. I don't think that... I think I just chose what was completely right for my story. Releases the Jack the Ripper episode around the same time as everybody else releases the Jack the Ripper episode.
Yeah.
I mean, one doth protest too much, which is what I said last time and what I feel again this time, is even if he's not consciously aware of the influence that the rest of TV is having on him, he's clearly being influenced.
Yeah.
And then he just can't just be like, okay, yeah, you're right. He might be done a lot right now, but I felt like he was a good fit, so I went with it anyway.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, he was perfect, and I'm not going to not do what's How about the Zodiac Killer?
Right? So
You could've had
Zodiac
the
Killer got a lot of press
Got it, yeah.
attention.
He mysteriously disappeared. He stopped doing what he was doing.
Yep.
I mean, I think that there's a lot of high-profile serial killers whose work is relatively unknown or is well-known, but it's unsolved. We have a lot of terrible murders that have happened that you could definitely have put. How about Ronald Reagan? We could have done Ronald Reagan. He could have just been like, well, he didn't die. He just disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fine. You could have had him disappear sometime in the future, because at this point, Ronald Reagan's still alive. It'd be like, oh, he disappeared in the year 2002 or whatever. Oh, no, where did Reagan go? Reagan needed to be shown the awfulness of his decisions. Hitler!
I was going to say Hitler earlier.
If you want a completely overdone historical figure who was a terrible choice and then tried to make me feel bad for him because he realized how bad his decisions were, you could have done Hitler. And then at the end, instead of saying Jack, he could just rip off a fake piece of skin on his upper lip, and he has the little Hitler mustache. Which actually, Forever Knight had a Hitler episode. So it wouldn't be unprecedented, right? We could have done that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, there's so many. You could have made somebody. Oh, I'm done. And then he goes on with, you can't exclude or include anything in your story just because a character or concept has been used by others. How do we feel about that statement? I think that we live in the year of our Lord 2026 when...
I think this is a straw man.
You think it's a thing that's just set up for...
He's reducing the argument to something...
Oh, yeah.
That's just stupid. You can't include or exclude or include anything in your story just because it's been used by others. No, that's not what anyone people are saying.
Yeah.
It's Jack the Ripper specifically.
Yeah. No, I know. Yes, I agree with you. I think that he is simplifying the argument in order to make it easier to refute.
Yeah, straw man.
But my question is, if you just take that at face value, you can't exclude or include anything in your story just because a character or concept has been used by others. How do we feel about that statement? And I think we live in the year of our Lord 2026 when movies, books, TV shows are abundant in a way that they have never been abundant before. And so we are exposed constantly to new and novel, what it claims to be novel content.
Right.
And I think that tropes have their place. Clearly, Jack the Ripper is a trope, so we'll call him what he is. I think tropes have their place. And when I am going to a story and I expect it to be trope heavy, I am going for a reason, because I want it to be predictable. I want it to feel comforting.
Mm-hmm.
I want to be able to see the shape of the story before I even start reading it, because I don't want surprises. I want a happy ending. I'm going in because I want to experience something that is new that also feels familiar.
Yeah.
So I think in that instance, yeah, you absolutely should include items that have been included in other stories because that's what people are coming to you for.
Mm-hmm.
If you have built your reputation like he has on doing new and novel things, and then you throw in not one, but 2 heavily used tropes within the last 4 episodes of an otherwise spectacular season,
Mm-hmm.
it feels lazy. It feels like he got tired.
I would say this. If you're going to use tropes,
Yeah.
you should use it in a way that it's the same shape, but not the same name. Right? Like suggesting other serial killers. Like, okay, yeah, you have a serial killer come back that did horrible things. But Jack the Ripper's been used so many times.
Yeah, use
a different name that was also a violent criminal.
Or leave it completely open.
Right.
So that we get to fill in who it might be.
Yeah.
And then imagine the discussion that would have been around that. Who could it have been? Oh, it could have been this person. Like drop a couple of clues.
Mm-hmm.
Make it someone other than Jack the Ripper. But then to include Jack the Ripper when lots of other people are currently including Jack the Ripper.
And maybe right now it feels 30 years later.
Obviously, it felt ubiquitous. Obviously, it felt overdone at the time because that's what almost all of the conversation is about. And it is a contemporary conversation. So even at the time, everyone was like, ugh, why Jack? And like you said, we could have just left the end off.
Yeah.
And it would have been a much better episode. Just leave out the part where he's like, I was Jack. Okay. It's fine. We could beat this dead horse to death. And I think we already have. And then we resurrected it, and then I think we kicked it in the balls. So I think we just leave it. But my point here is, no, I think he's being extremist in saying I have to exclude everything because clearly he doesn't.
Right. He got defensive about it.
And he just got up in his feels about it instead of being like, you're right, guys. I'm sorry. I've written so many episodes in a row. I cranked out. I went on autopilot for a couple.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, no, it's still canonical because everyone was like, well, it doesn't even really color the larger story. Like it didn't even really have a purpose. And he's like, yeah, it does. But I think the real thing is he's trying to juxtapose this Inquisition that Delenn is going through with the very real, very heartbreaking thing that is happening to Jakar right now. And we had the exact same thing in the previous episode when Jakar's life is ending. His planet is being destroyed, bombarded from space with illegal weapons. No one is stopping them. He finally loses absolutely everything. And the only reason he doesn't die is because he asks for sanctuary on Babylon 5. And it's this huge, emotional, big, like really hard story. And we juxtaposed it with, well, gosh, guys, look at this planet. That's awesome. A computer. Okay. I mean, not the two things I would have chosen to put together, but okay. And then is it the next episode? I feel like maybe it's the next episode or like one episode after that. Like within the next couple of episodes, it's Jakar is struggling to set up a resistance, even though he's really having to defend and solidify his own authority. Right. Now that he's not granted authority just from being in the Kari. Like, he has to use his Jakarness to maintain his hold over the other Narn on Babylon 5 so that he can still affect change back home. Right. And he's desperately trying to do this. And we get that moment where he confronts Lanier. And he cuts his hand and he's just like dead.
Veer, not Lanier.
Oh, sorry, Veer.
I was like, when did you confront Lanier?
It's the ear sound at the end.
Yeah.
And he's just like dead.
Yes.
Dead every time. And you're like, oh my fucking God. And he gets a couple lines in this that are like, I felt that in my jellies. Like I felt it all the way down.
Yeah.
And juxtaposing that with, hey guys, what if Jack the Ripper showed up and he made Delenn confront her own motivations? And you're like, wow, I really don't think that those are two good things to put together. And he kept saying, well, it's because Jakar is kind of going through his Inquisition and Delenn is going through her
They're both
Inquisition.
going through a trial by fire.
But we could have worked Delenn's so much more subtly than, hey, do we have an empty room we can maybe kill an ambassador in? And they were like, oh yeah, gray whatever, gray 19, it's open. Nobody's booked it for an interrogation in the next couple of days. So I think you're free to
It's really easy to clean the blood out of there.
It's fine. Anyway. What did he say? He says, you can't exclude or include. We already said that. If we were to do that, then we might as well never make the show because others have shown ships and hyperspace and aliens. Okay, yes, others have used Jack, but not in the same way. It was right for this show. Should it not be used because others have also used this character? Yes, correct. I think that's what everybody's saying. I think that the moment you begin constantly course correcting your show in reaction to other shows, you're dead in the water. You have to do what's right for this story and this episode. He's like, Jack comes to B5 and begins murdering people again, then I'd agree. But he didn't. And I think you have to judge a show by what's in the show and how well it's done, not against what's been done in other places. Yes, but anyway, that's not the point anyone's making.
Right. It's that it didn't have to be Jack the Ripper. And the only thing that the name Jack the Ripper brings is all the contemporary baggage of Jack the Ripper.
Right. It makes it age poorly.
Yeah.
If it had been a lot more vague, then it would have aged a lot better. But you don't know what's going to happen with this historical character that you insert in the show. You don't know how that's going to translate later.
Right.
It ends up dating the show far more than leaving it vague would have.
Right. Like specific dates. Like what if in 2010 they found out, oh, actually, a month later there was another murder.
Yeah.
That lines up.
Well, just including
that
it
changes the whole timeline.
Including it in the midst of when it's being included in all these other shows is what dates it.
Yeah.
It really dates it. It's kind of like the line in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, where she's like, I just want to grow old, marry Christian Slater, and die. Well, now I have to know who Christian Slater is, and that dates the movie.
Right.
Like,
and if they had said, I just want to grow old, marry a movie star or an action hero, and die.
Yes. Then it's kind of like when you don't include money. Mm-hmm. Don't tell me what the money's worth. Don't tell me how much you're paying for something. Just leave it be. Because then it doesn't date it. Right. But once you put a number on it, later we're going to be like, what? That's nothing. I can't believe you thought that was a lot of money. That's crazy. Anyway, we'll continue on to the episode, and then we don't really have to rehash the Jack thing. Because I think we've hashed it, and I think I've told you my feelings on it, which is like, it's fine. I just think it undermines what is otherwise.
And the only part of the story where Jack the Ripper is even significant is the last 20 seconds of the episode.
Right. Well, it colors your view of his motivations for like, why did he feel like he could interrogate Delenn? But it also presupposes that the reason that he did a lot of what he did was because he felt like he was cleansing the world, which means you have to believe that those women were immoral in some way, that he would have viewed them as immoral in some way. And like, we didn't know enough about it's fine. You get where I'm going with this. Yeah. There's a whole package of assumptions that has to come in for his role to have the impact. You could have had him be you could have made up a story about a war criminal from the Minbari War.
He could have been Genghis Khan.
He could have been literally. He
could have been a knight in the Crusades.
Mm-hmm. Oh, God, if he'd been King Arthur, God, shoot me in the fucking head right now. Everybody's King Arthur. It always comes. Oh, you know what?
We already had Arthur.
Oh, we already had the Grail episode. Oh, you're right. You're right. Anyway, we start our episode with Jakar, literally street preaching in the Zocalo.
On his soapbox.
Yeah. Does anyone here truly believe the Centauri will stop? Which my only real caveat here is this is clearly the corridor of conflict. How come Veer is up on the walkway and not Jakar? He's already made speeches
Normally
from the
Jakar's
walkway.
up on the walkway.
Maybe they were like, no, there's just a picture of Jakar that's like, not you. You don't get to come up here. I was like, does anyone truly believe the Centauri will stop? Now that they've seized our territory, we're only the beginning. All of you are next. And I love his little guard who's standing there like, yeah, that's right. You can't get to Jakar. You can't get through me. Like Jakar couldn't fuck anyone up.
Right.
Jakar's like, hit me, please, God. I really want to do this. Look what happened. Look, what happened was between you and the Centauri. I love this guy that shows up and he's doing the most. You know, they pulled him in off the lot and they were like, can you memorize one line? And he was like, I mean, I guess. And it's literally him being like, look, what happened was between you and the Centauri. It has nothing to do with us. And then Andreas has to act back. Not now, but soon it will. And yes, for a moment, their guns are silent. But when they see they've been able to do this to us without interference, their eye will turn to you. You sit in silence today, but tomorrow that will change. Are you willing to sacrifice all that you are to keep all that you have?
Good line.
Oh my God. He said that and I went, oh, I felt that so fucking hard. I was like, oh my God. How? That is one of the most relevant statements I think we've heard in Babylon 5 yet.
Yeah.
I loved his speech from the episode where he was like, we will be free again. That's good. But are you willing to sacrifice all that you are to keep all that you have? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And then a guy shows up and he's like, Jakar, this is pointless. Why do you embarrass yourself like this in public? And he's like, okay, first of all, I don't give a shit if I'm embarrassing myself in public because that's not what this is about. He goes, they must know that our voices can still be heard in the streets, in their sleep. We must keep reminding the others that we exist and we are still here. And if they forget about us, then we are truly beyond rescue.
Yep. And then Veer watching the whole thing.
Oh my God. This whole interaction was just like, and he's like, okay, well, we're going to have a meeting. So like, can you come? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And then it pans up and it's Veer looking down like peering down from above.
Yep.
What an odd place to put him. You could
veering down.
He is veering. Veer leering from above. What an odd place to put him. You could have put him in the crowd.
Yeah.
Because,
just at the back of the crowd.
Yeah, because it's supposed to be like, oh, they didn't notice him, but he's literally like he's
alone
from above.
up there.
I know. On what is clearly like a roped off walkway.
Visual storytelling.
Mm-hmm. And then we go to a abandoned hallway.
Veer feels alone.
I think that's part of what it was supposed to be. He feels apart from and alone in this whole conflict because he didn't. Where does he fall? He doesn't like what's happening to the Narn. He doesn't like what's happening with the Centauri, but he is Centauri. So, like, what does he do? And then we go to this hallway, and I want to know, does Babylon 5 have one of those, like, when you move, the lights turn on? Energy saving thing? Motion activated lights. Thank you for interpreting what I was saying there. Except Kosh turns them off. Maybe he has like the light putter outer from it's hard for me to say that out loud. You know, where Dumbledore has the little like the light thing where he clicks it and it absorbs all the lights.
Maybe.
Just for dramatic emphasis. Does he have a dramatic emphasis setting on his suit? And it darkens everything around him. And then when he turns and he's like,
he's backdoored into the entire control system for the station. Yeah. And so he can just turn off the lights.
Right. I'm just saying how much of the Vorlon mystique is actual mystique and how much of it is just theater. You just poked yourself in the eye with your own mustache.
Well, that's why I closed my eye first.
I love that for all of us. Matt's drinking out of a cup and he has to like stick his lips out to avoid the mustache, but then it curls up and it literally poked him in the eye. Oh, I love that for you. Anyway, yes, how much of their mystique is mystique and how much of it is just
it's like
meet me in the dark hallway.
Megamind.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, completely.
Presentation!
Exactly. I think that is exactly it, because how much impact would this statement from Kosh have if they'd met in like a well-lit restaurant, or if he'd gone to Delenn's quarters and just addressed her in person, but instead he's like, can you meet me in the Cloak and Dagger hallway? And she's like, oh, is the Cloak and Dagger?
How will I know I'm there? You'll know.
You'll know. Is the Cloak
If
and
you
Dagger hallway?
survive.
The Cloak and Dagger hallway is right next to the Sotto Voce hallway. There's like, how will I be presenting this information? Will it be dark and mysterious? Excuse me while I open my Coke. Yes, it will be dark and mysterious. Great. Then I must have a dark and mysterious hallway.
It's a dark and mysterious meeting.
Because then she shows up and she's like, Lanier said you were calling for me.
Is
And
he
he's
just
like-
in his room? Delenn! Delenn! Just getting louder and louder.
Lanier walked by and he was like, what? like our son when he asks for water. Mama, can you give me some water? Except it was Kosh, just literally shouting. Did he? Maybe. I don't know. Could be. He can appear in people's dreams. Do you think he appeared in Lanier's dreams? And was like, hey, can you get Delenn for me? And then Lanier woke up like, oh, can't he just use the comm like everybody else? And so then he goes to Delenn. Anyway, yeah, he told Delenn because now Delenn's here. Because she's like, Lanier said you were calling for me. And he just goes, yes. And she's like, is there something wrong? And he goes, yes.
How will I know who it is?
Oh, you perhaps. We have sent for an Inquisitor. And she's like, what? Why? And he's like, to be sure about you. Bitch, who are you?
They could have gotten somebody from the Spanish Inquisition.
An actual Inquisitor. Well, nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. He goes, you will submit to his authority. Bitch, I will not. The modern woman in me struggles a lot with this because Delenn's like, yes, master, whatever you need. Yes, yes, I will go. I will get hurt and almost killed because you think that you have the right to judge me and to judge whether or not I am worthy of this cause.
Right.
And I don't really think I know enough. I mean, you look like a. Well, we can't talk about that. Never mind. I'm struggling. The deconstructed part of me is struggling.
Good job catching it before it came out.
It's like, well, just because you know. No, I can't talk about that yet. This is how will I know who it is? And he's like, you will know if you survive. Well, I would assume you would know way before that because he's going to be hurting. But if a guy shows up and starts harming you, he's probably our Inquisitor. Oh, okay, got it. And then we go to the introduction. And then we come back and it's Sheridan and Delenn and Lanier, and they're all in Sheridan's office. And he's like, okay, wait. Let me get this straight. Somebody is coming. You have business together. You want him passed through customs without incident, but you don't know who or when or why he's coming? How do they know who to pass through customs? I mean, obviously, because he arrives in a Vorlon spaceship.
Right.
But I think that would have gotten him through customs regardless.
Yeah.
And she's like, I know I'm asking a lot of you. And he's like, no, it's not about that. Like, I would do a lot for you at this point. I mean, God, how much more of a hint do I need to throw at you? He needs to wear a shirt that's like, I fucking love you, Delenn. And she'd be like,
asking is not a problem, Delenn. Not for you.
And my favorite part about this scene, is they were trying the most to carry on the drama and theater and presentation from the hallway because she's like turned into the light in this really dramatic, like, I'm covered in shadow because I don't know what's happening. And it's representing how mysterious this moment is for me. And then every time she goes to talk again, she whips her head to the side and then steps off into another area so that the lighting can be just slightly different. Instead of everybody just having a conversation, she's literally like whip pacing around the room and then like, is this my angle? Is this the right angle for this line? I'm going to deliver this line as dramatically as possible. Anyway, she's like, Ambassador Kosh has doubts. And he's like, about what? And the leader's like, I mean, actually, doubt is like a strong word. Doubt's not the word I would have chosen. He wishes for confirmation. Not better. Not better, Lanier.
Same thing.
Not better. Yeah, that's what he goes. It's the same. That's what Delenn says.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Sheridan's like, hey, whoop, 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 whoop. No, we're not going to fight right now. Look at me. Stay focused. Stay focused. As I understand it, Ambassador Kosh and the Vorlons are crucial to the big war that's coming. Now, if he's worried about something, I want to hear about it. And this is when she's like, whoosh, like walks off to the side.
Ambassador Kosh is unsure about
elbow
me.
Lanier out of the way too, to be like, hang on, my spotlight's over here. And she's like, Ambassador Kosh is unsure about me. And he's like, you? What? Why on earth? And she's like, I'm aligning myself with you and with Kosh. I have placed myself in the center of the coming storm. Kosh must be certain that my choice is correct and made for the right reasons. And then Lanier's like, hey, let me break it down for you, actually. If you do the right thing for the wrong reasons, the work becomes corrupted, impure, and ultimately self-destructive. Ambassador Kosh wishes confirmation that the right people are in the right place at the right time. Okay. I have a caveat. Because this falls squarely into the moral perfectionism school of thought.
Yeah.
That the only people who have the right to fight for what is right are the people who have literally never made a mistake.
Right.
And it does not leave you room to grow during the experience.
Right.
Because just because you set off to do the right thing for the wrong reasons doesn't mean that your reasons do not change over time.
Right.
Based on your experiences. And how can she grow and change into a better person if she must start her journey fully formed and perfect?
Yep.
So what you end up doing is selecting away the people who are even moderately unsure of themselves and leaving only the people who are completely sure of themselves, which doesn't necessarily mean you're doing the right thing.
Right. You just end up selecting people who can be morally rigid and can't change their minds based on new information.
Right. And then you end up in a situation where changing your mind is seen as a flaw.
Yeah.
You had this discussion with a friend of ours where they were like, oh, scientists have changed their mind on this. And you were like, yeah, because they got new information. That's how that works. That's how that works. You get new information, you reevaluate your hypotheses, and you come up with something new and different. And yet that is seen as being wishy-washy.
Yep.
Oh, well, of course they didn't know. Not everybody knows from the very beginning why they are doing. And I can understand them wanting to be like, are you doing this because you think you're going to get famous for doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not. You're probably just going to die.
Right.
I mean, I'm listening to a really good podcast right now called Unicorn Girl, which is really good, by the way. It's by the same lady that did Scamanda. Mm-hmm. And they're talking about this woman who did a lot of very dramatic, what would appear on the surface to be very right things for all the wrong reasons. And that is a perfect example of when that can literally lead to harm. Atrocities, one might say. And so I can understand that. But if Delenn's 70% of the way there, if she's already doing this because she legitimately wants to help people, then allowing for growth along the way, allowing for mistakes, allowing for past mistakes is important. Because not everybody emerges into the realm of doing the right thing without ever having done the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. And like, was it Parthenax? No.
Oh, yeah. Parthenax the dragon from Skyrim.
Is it better to have always done the right thing or to have done terrible things and
strive to be better?
And I think it's a good question. And I don't think there's anything better or worse. I think that as long as everybody's...
And I think that's becoming more of a thing because several of the books I've read in the past, year, like fantasy novels I've read, you start out with, okay, throughout the story, you realize, oh, this character that's like on the good guys team now used to be a really bad person, but they've worked really, really hard to atone for what they did.
Yeah.
And they're trying to be better and, course correct. But And I think that's like most people, most characters should get a redemption arc.
Yeah.
Or it should be possible for them to
If
get a
they
redemption
are in
arc.
the redemption arc, you need to let them cook, I think
Right.
is a good way to put it. Not everybody should get a redemption arc. Some people do things that are just so terrible. I'm not sure how you come back from them.
Yeah.
But that's a thing that you explore on a case-by-case basis, I guess. I don't know. What I'm saying is I think that this almost falls into the trap of moral perfectionism, where she needs to be right. She needs to be doing it for the right reason. She needs everything to be perfect, or she can't be a champion for what's good. And I think that that's a thing that we all have to kind of confront as a society right now, is because a lot of people are trying to do the right thing. And like Jakar says later, if we're going to defeat them, we have to be united.
Mm-hmm.
There can't be any room for doubts. So what do I need to do to get you on my side?
Well, I think his questioning, at one point in the interrogation, she admits that she has questioned whether she's doing the right thing or doing it the right way. And she says sometimes, and he says, good. You get a 10-minute break.
Yeah, but it's not about...
There may be hope for you yet.
I mean, I get where they're going. I get
Yeah.
the idea of them wanting Delenn to have the right motivations. I understand that. But putting someone through this crucible before they can be allowed to be the leader or to continue on what they believe is their destiny is very...
Gatekeepy?
Gatekeepy, I guess is a good way to put it. I just feel like we live in a world right now where everything you've ever done ends up archived somewhere.
Yeah.
And so when people try to do the right thing, the immediate response is to dredge up every negative thing that you've ever done.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're horrifically terrible things. And yes, of course, they should be entered into the equation. And sometimes they're things that people are like, I'm sorry, I was a different person then.
Mm-hmm.
When I was deep in my religious fundamentalism, I'm sure I said things that if I heard them today, I would be horrified by them.
Yeah.
But I was deeply indoctrinated, deeply in a place where I didn't question what people were telling me was right and wrong. And I have since had to confront a lot of those beliefs in myself and move through them and come to a place where I have a greater understanding of rightness and wrongness in the world that is not based on some arbitrary Christian nationalist standard. And that took a long time, and there was a lot of journey in there. And if at some point somebody had sent Jack the Ripper to repeatedly ask me who I am, what if I had broken and not made it through that and then not continued on the path because now I believed that I wasn't who I thought I was and that I didn't deserve to be saved and I didn't deserve to be better and I didn't deserve to treat other people better because I was fundamentally flawed.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't love this narrative of
No.
one track, one right, one wrong, be perfect immediately, never question, but only question in the right way. Especially when he starts bringing in God, where he's like, don't you believe that God chose you? And I'm like, JMS, you are an atheist. I know you're an atheist.
I thought the angle on that was going to be, oh, so you were chosen. She's like, yeah, I'm chosen. Oh, so you believe you're worthy of being. I thought she was going to say, no, I wasn't chosen. I chose this.
Yes, that would have been way more
Right?
powerful. Yes.
I think that would have aged better, definitely.
Yeah, I didn't have to do this. She had every other opportunity in front of her. She could have been president of Minbar, like supreme leader of Minbar. And she was like, no, dog, I think that I need to give that up so that I can be on Babylon 5 because that's where I need to be.
Yeah.
She chose that. And then to be like, well, it's because it was her destiny. She had no choice. She had to do what she had to do because that's the way that this has always gone.
Mm-hmm.
Ends up cheapening it. Prophecy to me always cheapens things.
Yeah.
When you remove choice. Because she chose to do that. And then when you don't acknowledge that it was a choice.
Right. You're just removing free will.
That was the way it was always going to happen. There was nothing she could do about it.
Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't you. You didn't choose that. You don't have to have that pain. It's
It
fine.
was written in stone before you were born.
Anyway, then we come back to Jakar. And it's fine. Stuff happens. She whips her head around quite a few more times. Just to like dramatically find her like, what I must do alone. I have agreed to this of my own free will. Do not interfere no matter what happens, which he immediately does, of course, which is what they wanted all along. Ugh. Then we get to Jakar and Mr. Chase.
Yeah.
And this is the part that I actually like. Any Jakar scene in this episode, I was like, yeah, give me more Jakar. Oh, yes. And then every time we went back to Delenn, I was like, contrived, tropey, don't love it. And then we'd go back to Jakar, and I was like, yes, I love Jakar. Okay. What do you have for me, Mr. Chase? And this is basically Jakar trying to buy weapons. And this guy extorting him out of money because he knows he's in a tight place. He can't get them legitimately, so he can charge him whatever he wants. Yeah. And the best part of this entire scene, two things. When he's like, hey, I thought you lost the war. And he was like, you were misinformed. Our tactics have changed, but the fight continues. And I was like, yeah, that's right. So good.
Good line.
And then later, when he's like, I'll knock 10% off the top. And he's like, okay, fine. I'll do it. I'll give you 50% as a down payment. And then once you actually deliver, I'll give you the rest. And he's like, cool, great doing business with you. And he stops him and he's like, I'm going to stop you right there for a minute. Let me talk to you about this. The money that we're using to buy these weapons come from the life savings of Narn who were able to escape the Centauri occupation. It is a limited resource purchased with blood. And if it should be squandered or stolen, be assured that while your body may one day be found, it could never be identified by what's left. And the guy's like, yeah, okay, great.
So you better not run off with my money.
Look me in the eyes. I will fucking kill you. I will fucking kill you. And he's like, okay. Oh my God. If Jakar looked at me,
hurt the whole time.
If Jakar looked at me and said that, I'd be like, what do you need, sir? Anything you need. Oh my God. It's so fucking good. And then we come back to Ivanova in the CNC, and she's like, hey, there's a ship here. A Vorlon transport has arrived.
Yeah.
And they're like, wow, I didn't know Kosh had left. And they're like, no, Kosh didn't leave. This is another Vorlon transport. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
And then she calls the captain, Sheridan. She's like, I've got something for you. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Sorry. I'm trying to maintain impartiality, but I really can't. I can't. You know what? You're not here for that. You're not here for that. You're here for our pithy hot takes. So I got lots of them straight out of the oven for this one. And this is the part where Sheridan confronts Sebastian and the lead up.
The slow walk with the cane.
Oh my God.
Tap,
and this guy's wearing like stiletto heels. They are so high. We just started watching a K-drama with Gong Yu. It's an older K-drama, but I watched part of it. I didn't finish it. And then I thought you would like it, called Silent Sea. Mm-hmm. And it was Korea's first foray into science fiction, which I thought was really not. I mean, like they have sci-fi K-drama movies, but this is sci-fi K-drama, and it has Gong Yu in it, whom we love, but he's tall. And they hired this guy to be his like second in command / maybe the bad guy, who is not that tall. So he's wearing some heels, and they're trying to like make it look like he's not wearing heels, but he's clearly wearing heels. Anyway, this guy's clearly wearing heels. And the like tap of the cane. This would have been good. It would have been dramatic. I would have been like, ooh, this is really, because we don't know if it's a person. We don't know if it's a Vorlon. We don't know who's showing up. And then he comes around and he has on a fucking top hat and a little Victorian waistcoat. And I was like, oh, right. Jack the Ripper. Ugh. Ruins it.
I looked at... Apparently, Gong Yu's 6 feet even.
Oh, well, he's tall for...
He's tall for a Korean. Tall for a Korean guy.
He seems a lot taller than that.
He's so much taller than all the rest of the Korean actors.
I mean, he looks lofty. How tall is Lee Dong-wook?
I think he's taller.
Assuming everyone will just know who I'm talking about. Watch K-dramas. God, expand your mind and your cultural relevance.
6 feet even.
Okay. Well, anyway, watch Goblin. Best bromance ever.
Guardian, a.k.a. Or Goblin, a.k.a.
Guardian, the Great and Lonely God, I think. Yeah. You know who didn't have a Jack the Ripper episode? Guardian. Goblin. They never have a Jack the Ripper episode. Thank God. Anyway, he's like, I don't suppose you'd mind telling me why you were on a Vorlon transport. And my favorite part about this is they meet in a dark room full of boxes.
Because he bypassed
Is
customs.
this where Kosh gets off? If Kosh gets off and he uses the same path.
Kosh has his own docking bay.
Oh, okay, that's right. So because they let him through with no problems, they had to take him through the boxes room. This is like the last. It's like I wonder if they have a plaque that's like the last remaining boxes room, preserved in posterity.
Yeah.
To commemorate Sinclair's leadership of Babylon 5. Anyway, he's like, no, I wouldn't mind telling you why I was on a Vorlon transport.
There's plaques all over the station. Sinclair performed the Sinclair Smash here on this date.
A man died after a single hit from Sinclair here on this date. Sinclair. Aside from Babylon 5, I didn't know Vorlons had any contact with humans. And he's like, no, I'm sure you didn't.
Shut up.
Where's Delenn? I'll send for her when we're finished. And then they walk in and he's like, nothing changes. Corruption, immorality.
Because they immediately
chaos.
come out into the Zocalo?
Yes. The boxes room leads directly into the Zocalo. Correct. Yeah. Anyway, you know what he learned from the Vorlons? How to be a judgy bitch. That's what he learned. When they
That's
were like,
true.
He
Yeah.
was like, they showed me everything about everything and they opened my eyes and I realized the truth. And the truth is that everyone is less than me. Just like everyone is less than the Vorlons.
And I am
Especially
correct
women.
to be a judgy little bitch.
I'm a judgy little bitch. He's like, when were you last on Earth? And he's like, well, a long time ago. He's like, okay, so you've been to their home planet? And he's like, no, I've been in orbit. Yeah, I've fucking been in their home planet. God damn it. He's like, who? The Vorlons. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Could they not have put him in other clothes?
Maybe he has a very strong preference for
No.
this style of clothing.
No, I think there's a couple of, I think that I think the stated reason that they took him is because they wanted him to be an Inquisitor later.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was just a side effect. I think they get humans to play dress up.
and he had the right measurements
Yes.
for the clothes they already had.
Yes. They were like, two birds, one stone. We'll stop him from murdering these women, even though we will never protect anyone from being murdered ever, ever, ever again. We will never step in history to prevent.
Oh, they didn't take him to stop more murders.
Mm.
They took him because he fit the clothes they already had.
Yeah. So, and these are the ones that are deciding whether or not Delenn has the right to do the right thing. Right. Okay, great. Oh, as long as we got that cleared up, it's fine. He's like, oh, you've seen what they really look like? And he's like, yeah. And he keeps walking. Where is he going? Does he know where he's going?
He's just going to walk until
I know.
he finds Delenn.
Yeah. He's just power walking away for no reason. He's like, can you stand still for a second? He's like, I don't have time. Yeah, you do, because you don't know where you're fucking going. He's like, I want to know the truth. You can't handle the truth. That's another one. Okay. He's like, the facts, if that's the only way to get to my work. Yes, the Vorlons have been to Earth. The Vorlons have been everywhere. The Vorlons are.
So dramatic.
I mean, anything over a long enough timeline would visit the vast... Like, if you were immortal, after a while, you'd visit all of Earth.
Yeah.
Because you just have the time to do it. So, yeah, the Vorlons have been everywhere simply because they've had the time to be everywhere. Oh, whatever. He's like, my name is Sebastian. I resided at 14B Hertford Lane in London in the year of our Lord, 1888. I was found by the Vorlons, taken and brought into their service. They told me about everything, and the scales fell from my eyes, and they were open to a universe of majesty and terror that you could never imagine. And yet somehow I am still the judgiest of judgy bitches. They call upon me when I am needed and preserve me when I am not. You know what usually makes people understanding and not judgmental?
Kindness.
Understanding. Realizing that other people have lives just as full and valid and important as yours. And this reminds me again of the scene from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where that race who's been surrounded by a dark cloud and has never seen the rest of the universe eventually comes out and sees that there are stars. And then they realize that every star could have planets that orbit it that are just as rich and full of life and as culturally valuable as they are. And they decide that they've all got to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Too messy.
He goes, you will allow me to finish the work that has brought me here, or you will let me leave because either way I have told you all that I intend to. Okay. Fine. Whatever. Then we go to Garibaldi and Jakar, which is another just, God, fucking good moment. Because it's Garibaldi going to talk to Jakar, and he's like, listen, word's been getting around that you've been buying weapons to use back home. Is it true? And I love Jakar's line. He's like, you never get into a discussion that you don't already know how it's going to go. So why don't we pretend that I've lied about it and that you've caught me in your web of ineluctable logic and cut to the point. So let's just cut out the middleman. We all know how this is going to go. What do you actually want? And he goes, well, I know the captain's given his promise of support, but that doesn't mean that you get to smuggle weapons through Babylon 5. He goes, otherwise this place is going to go straight to hell. And Jakar's like, we kind of already are in hell. I don't know if you've noticed. And you can't
Look
escape
around,
what's
Mr.
coming.
Garibaldi.
You can't escape what's coming. And Garibaldi's like, I mean, maybe not, but there's nothing wrong with getting a good head start. And he's like, I mean it. I get it. I get what you're going through. But like, if you go up against me on this, you're going to lose. And then he's like, fine. I won't smuggle weapons through here. And he goes, thanks. And by the way, I think you might find this of interest. And then you find out that he's from when he was a battle-hardened 19-year-old.
He knows a guy.
An old buddy that runs a transfer station in Sector 90. It's all by itself right near a jump gate. All alone in the night, one might say. Half the stuff he handles is illegal goods, but he pays off all the right people. This further leads me to believe that Garibaldi is deep in with most of what's happening on Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Illegal or legal, it doesn't matter.
Right.
That he either facilitates or stops what's happening just based on his own view of right and wrong.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the guy from the first season. The bug guy.
Oh, yeah.
All I can think is Gabranth, but that's from Final Fantasy 12, so it's not going to do me any good. Nagrath. Thank you. Yeah, like Nagrath. I mean, where did Nagrath go? We know he went away because he didn't play well with audiences. People didn't like him. Mm-hmm. But also, I mean, what if Nagrath got too big and he started being a little bit... I mean, he started letting people into the ambassadorial wing.
Yeah.
And doing a lot of really big, high-level shit. And so that's the kind of stuff that gets you cracked down on.
Crossed the line.
Yeah. But I think I think Garibaldi is real enough to know that there's a certain amount of corruption that is impossible to avoid. And
right.
So it's better. It's kind of like in Dune, when instead of trying to stop the smugglers, they just legalize smuggling.
Yeah. They just say, okay, you just pay us.
Yeah, just pay us a tax. And
we just make it a completely above board fee that you pay.
Right.
To do that.
Yeah. And in the end, he's left with a lot of contacts who can get a lot of stuff done and who owe him a favor because he didn't turn them in.
Right.
And so that's exactly what he does here is he's like, I got this buddy. He does a lot of illegal shit, but he definitely said he would help you guys, no charge.
Yep.
So you can't smuggle them through here, but I found another spot for you to snuggle them through.
Right.
You're welcome.
I agree morally with what you are smuggling.
Yeah.
Just don't bring it through my kitchen.
Not in my house.
Use my neighbor's yard.
Then it's fine. My neighbor owes me a favor. It's totally fine. And Garibaldi's like, why? And he's like, because he owes me a favor. And now we're even. He's like, no. Why are you doing this? He goes, because you didn't lie to me. He's like, okay, but you must have known ahead of time. And he's like, yeah, like you said, I never start a discussion unless I know where it's going. But I always leave a little room for someone to disappoint me. So thanks for not doing that. Garibaldi is, honestly, he doesn't get enough credit for being one of the best, like, cop propaganda characters
Mm-hmm.
of his era.
Yeah.
Because he does his job. He protects Babylon 5 in the way that he feels is best.
Mm-hmm.
But he is not married to the legality. He doesn't
Right.
always see the law as the moral imperative. He sees what he believes is right as the moral imperative. If anybody should be interrogated about what they actually believe is right, it should be Garibaldi, because the amount of influence that he has over Babylon 5 in the end is far greater than Delenn's. Delenn is like the figurehead. She's the cult of personality leader.
Yeah.
But Garibaldi is the boots on the ground who literally decides who gets to do business on Babylon 5 and who doesn't get to do business on Babylon 5.
Yep.
Anyway, it's a interesting thing to include in a cop character in the 90s.
Yeah. The human element.
When you either got like, I'm dedicated to what's right and you have to work around me, or I'm secretly corrupt and you have to know my levers so that you can work around me.
It's like Skybreakers versus Windrunners in the Stormlight Archive.
Yeah, sure. Let's bring Brandon Sanderson in here. That feels like it's probably relevant and everyone will get that reference.
Where the two factions of the like supernatural group, the Knights Radiant,
Mm-hmm.
and the Windrunners do what is moral, but the Skybreakers follow the letter of the law.
Yeah.
They do what is legal. And they're always butting heads because there's always a conflict between the legality and the morality of things.
Right, because they don't always overlap.
Right.
Right.
And so Garibaldi, for the most part, follows the law, but when the law
He's
is
flexible.
when the law is immoral, he just works around it.
Mm-hmm. He's flexible when he needs to be flexible, which
Yeah.
is a good character trait. It works really well for him.
Yeah.
And we move on to Delenn finally confronting Sebastian. And what an interesting choice to not show Sheridan actually talking to Delenn, but to include their conversation as a voiceover.
Right.
As she's walking in. Because he's like, the one you've been waiting for is here. I think part of my problem with this whole scene, this whole Delenn, Sebastian, Sheridan moment, is how fucking over dramatic it is.
Oh yeah,
It's
so dramatic.
So theater. It's so, the one you've been waiting for is here. Took us a while to find what he wanted, a place where you two wouldn't be disturbed. And it's lucky for us, we just got finished clearing all the Marcab bodies out. Although JMS specifically said it may look like where the Marcabs were, but it's not where the Marcabs were, which means that there's more than one incredibly the Marcab area, remember, it had 5,000 people in it.
Right.
So you had a space that could fit 5,000 people, and then you had another space that was just, well, how much empty space is on Babylon 5?
A lot.
Because they keep saying like space is at a premium. Okay, but you have a lot of fucking empty space.
Maybe this is storage, but they cleared out this one area of Gray 19.
Do you think that the spotlights are part of the security system in this area, or do you think that they installed the spotlights?
Oh, I think Sebastian put
specifically?
those in there.
They're part of his kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Just like the rack that he has
Mm,
Delenn and Sheridan strung up on.
okay. Yeah.
That was brought in.
I mean, I know it was. I'm just searching the universe for strength right now. That's all I'm doing. He's like, okay, anyway, Delenn, are you sure you want to do this? I spent some time with him and I don't like what I see. And she's like, I'm going to be fine. Thanks for your help. And then she comes in and she steps into a spotlight and she gets given these cuffs. And he's like, I'm the victim here, not you, because you have the choice to leave at any time, but you're forcing me to hurt you. Wait, no, that's not what he says. Hang on. Let me try to rephrase that again. He's like, these manacles are made for you. You can remove them at any time, but if you do so, you admit failure and defeat, and you will stand before the Vorlons as inadequate for the task ahead. understand. Oh, God. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to do the funny voices, but it's the only thing getting me through it. And this is the part where he's like, who are you? Which they use later. He doesn't even go away. They use it later in the intro for one of the seasons where he's like, who are you?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm Delenn. He's like, no. Correct answer. I already know your name. Who are you? Delenn. He really needed a little buzzer. If you repeat an unacceptable answer, the penalty will be increased. Okay, but when someone says their name, there's a lot that goes on behind the name besides just I'm telling you my name. I'm telling you I'm Delenn. Kind of like later when you're like, they only know me as Jack. Kind of like that.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And
I'd be like,
JMS
sit down. Do you have time to talk
even
about
says
this?
there is no correct answer.
Oh, yeah. It's supposed to be part of there's some group that uses this as their interrogation technique. Like asking who are you? Questions
Like a
that
rite of
don't have an
passage.
answer.
Yeah.
Whatever. She's like, I'm the daughter of, and he's like,
What is
nah.
the sound of one hand clapping?
Yeah, I know. Does she have to answer immediately, or does she have time to think of think? Does she have time to think of an answer, or does she just need to know off the top of her head what he wants to hear? And then after a while, if he's hurting her, is she not just saying what he wants to hear instead of what is actually true?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, maybe
Anyway.
he's trying to figure out what she will say
Under duress?
with the expectation of that's what he wants to hear, or will she maintain her
Her commitment to honesty?
her
Commitment to what is
to
right?
the truth?
As he decides what is right? The truth as he decides what is true?
I don't think he's looking for the truth. I think he's looking for, is she committed to her ideals, or will she compromise on her ideals to end the suffering?
All he wants to know in the end is whether or not she wants to be famous.
Right. Is she doing this for
Are you
personal
doing
glory
this for fame?
or to make the world a better place?
And kind of like any other story at this time in 1995, it isn't even really about her. It's about whether or not her man's is also good enough.
Yeah.
Because it's not until Sheridan shows up that he actually asks the question that he wanted answered all along.
Right. And he says no one's ever passed his test before.
How many people have they let him kill?
Right.
How many people have they let him murder?
He said a lot of them would have left.
Yeah.
And so they gave up. They're like, I'm not willing to go through with this just to gain the approval of the Vorlons.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're too proud, then you will stay until the pain kills you. So, like, what's the threshold of, like, passing?
Mm-hmm.
If he's never had a pass in 400 years.
That's because they only sent him out to test women, and this is the first time a man showed up. And he was like, "Oh, you have a man. Oh, okay. Oh, well, I respect his opinion. What does he have to say about it?" And then she stands up and it was like, "I would die for that man." And he's like, "Oh, good. She's properly subservient. Yes, you can be free. You're fine."
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's fine. How many times has he stopped someone who would have been able to stop the shadows before they actually became this big of a problem?
Yeah, that's what I was going to get to next.
Yeah.
Was he's never passed. No one has ever passed his ordeal, his crucible. How many good leaders has he destroyed?
Yeah. Because they didn't have the right answer.
Yeah.
In the right moment. What if you have a lot of trauma and when you're being hurt like this, you can't answer? What if you've been the victim of abuse and this is so triggering that you are unable to articulate the right answer?
And without this ordeal, you would have gone on to do
Wonderful things.
inspire great things.
Yeah.
As a leader.
This kind of feels like how every test is designed for neurotypical people. This feels like the ultimate expression of that.
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, we don't have any alternative to this because this is the only way we can test anybody. Be like, okay, but what if I don't speak English? Who do you send? What if I'm deaf? Who do you send?
Right?
What if I can't both experience pain and think my way through this all at the same time? Pain was not even necessary. Actual torture was not even required for this. You could have just said, I'm not going to let you go until you answer me. Or you could have said, you can leave any time, but when you leave, you fail. And then just force them to sit there and answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
Torture was not necessary. And I know he was like, well, torture shows you whether or not you're really committed. Okay.
Yeah, JMS said, basically to make it real and not just intellectual discussions.
Yeah. Oh, you don't do this over a cup of tea. Well, I think you kind of could, though. Because all he's testing is what she really wants. Like, deep down, what did she really want?
Yeah.
He could have been like, I poisoned you. You have 12 hours before the antidote will no longer work. Let's talk. What are you actually in this for?
Yeah.
This is not his most inspired moment. And my problem with it is I get where he was going, and I could see the value of having a moment like this where you force both the character and the viewer to confront their assumptions about someone that they see as like
right, and
the savior
and there's
character.
more to your identity than what other people call you.
Right. And that these are our savior characters, right? We have Delenn, we have Sheridan. Later, they are actually going to become religious figures. That's going to be a whole other discussion.
Mm-hmm.
So he's adding a lot of savior overtones when he does shit like this.
Yeah.
Instead of just leaving us with, Delenn already made a big sacrifice. We've already talked about that. We didn't really need this. And then you brought Sheridan in and you added him as part of the called by God group.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've taken what was otherwise like normal people choosing to do the hard thing because it was the right thing and made it into this is part of a thing that was always going to happen and they're chosen by God. And that is the pivot that I've never loved.
Yeah.
Because in the end, when he's like, oh, there's no greater thing than for just a person to lay down their life. Like, you're not doing this for glory. You're not doing this for whatever. Okay, that's fine. But you've also deified them. You've given me a path for deification here. And I just don't love that because I like the story better when it's about like, this is just a person who is continuously making the right choice, not the convenient choice.
Right. The choice to do the right thing, the choice to do the hard thing.
Yeah.
With the goal of making the world a better place.
Right.
Reducing suffering. But there doesn't need to be like prophecy, destiny.
Right. Well, it ends up fitting into the sort of cultural narrative of the superhuman leader,
mm-hmm.
the person who will get us out of this, the person that we all need to rally behind. Instead of like, we're all sort of cogs in a community and we can all move towards doing what's right without having to be called by God. You can teach your children how to do the right thing. You don't need to be so superhuman that the Vorlons send an Inquisitor to... I don't know immediately where I'm going with this. It never sits right with me when he starts making it more mystical.
Mm-hmm.
And especially when he sets up the Vorlons as godlike figures, deity-like figures,
mm-hmm.
which is what he's doing here. And I know we're going to subvert that eventually. I know that that's all coming. But the amount of leverage that Delenn gives Kosh over her life, knowing what little respect he ultimately has for her life, because he's like,
Well, maybe she hasn't realized that yet.
Maybe she didn't. Well, she knew that there was a possibility she could die from doing this, and that Kosh did it because he needed to test her, but never once questioned whether or not he had the right to test her.
Right.
I have a hard time believing that Delenn is going to answer truthfully this whole way through, knowing that the reason she's doing this is so the Vorlon will stay on her side.
Right, it's just to maintain the approval of the Vorlons.
Right, because they need the Vorlon firepower.
Right.
So in that moment, I'd say whatever. Yeah, sure, I'll lay down my life for my friends right now. I don't need anything. It's fine.
Well, so I think she knows that the Vorlons are necessary because of their technical prowess, their offensive and defensive tools. But I think at this point, she also still views the Vorlons as
Godlike.
Moral leaders, moral authorities, rather than just like military authorities.
Yeah.
And so she's like, okay, well, I believe that they are acting as moral authorities, and this is all justified and like the right thing, the right way for them to do it. But I also think this is one of the first pieces where we see, okay, maybe the Vorlons aren't that morally superior.
I think we see that. I think he didn't intend that to be this. I think he intended this to be like...
This was a totally justified ordeal.
It was a justified ordeal because it showed us just how committed they are to the cause.
And how important it is to have the right people.
Right. Which, yeah okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. We could have shown that...
Without torturing them.
Without, this is so overt, I guess, is instead of having like a short plot line or a long-ish plot line where you lead them down to a choice where they have to choose to die, or they have to choose, like you leave them organically to a moment where they might have to lay down their lives for each other in a way that's never going to be publicized and is going to be completely forgotten, and then see what they choose and then pop out from behind the bushes and be like, ha, you chose correctly. You are the right person for the job. This was all a ruse this entire time to see what you would do. Instead, they literally are like, would you die for somebody if you weren't gonna get it's like they got it's like he got super high and he was talking to a bunch of friends and he was like, okay, now like, what would you do if there was this hot chick and she was like, I would die for you, would that be cool or whatever? And he's like, oh my God, that'd be like the coolest thing in the world. Like, that's how this fucking feels. Like, it feels so over the top and overt. And then we juxtapose it. So my only note for this whole scene, I'm not going to read it. I don't care. I only wrote Jack the mansplainer. Because every single woman who's ever tried to stand up for anything ever has had to meet Chad, the gatekeeper douchebag, who's like, oh, do you really, you're really showing your true colors here by not agreeing with me and by not like smiling, and maybe you should smile more, and then maybe people would take you more seriously. Like,
you'd be prettier if you smiled more.
Yeah, the admitting you're not worthy enough or strong enough for the task ahead, and pride will prevent you from doing that. Like, you're too proud for this. You're too goody two shoes. I just know that's all a ruse. Like, everyone has met this guy. He might as well. I'm not going to stop calling him Jack. I'm just going to call him Chad from here on out. It's just Chad. So I'm not going to read it because this is a lived experience. I don't feel like I need to go over that. Especially
Chad the Griper.
Chad the Griper, exactly. Oh my God. So we juxtapose that. This just like, oh my God, can I hit the target if the target is the entire board? Hell yeah. Boof. Like, that's how overt this is. To Veer getting into a lift with
he's running away from another Centauri who's trying to get a favor out of Londo.
Right.
And he gets into the elevator and the elevator door closes and he's like, oh, okay, I escaped that.
And then he looks over and it's Jakar. And Jakar looking at him
just
like,
glaring.
oh my, Andreas, oh my God, this scene. Because after all, he stands there. This is so uncomfortable. This scene is more emotionally charged.
I think this is also a lot of character development, like showing us more of Veer's character.
Yes.
That when he's confronted with Jakar, he's at first uncomfortable and then he apologizes.
We get more character growth between Jakar and Veer in this short scene than in the entirety of Chad the Griper versus Delenn.
Right.
Because up till now, we haven't let Delenn be anything other than the emotionless Zen space Minbari Japanese lady, space Japanese lady, and the conflicted, oh no, I have hair now, oh boo-hoo-hoo. And I'm slightly outraged at every scene she has, pretty much, she's shouting at somebody. Like, we haven't let her have nuance in any way yet, except as this, what do we know? When he's like, who are you? And I'm like, honestly, I don't know. Beyond her being at Minbar, we know who Sheridan's dad, we know Sheridan's dad was a diplomat. We know about his wife. We know about his sister. We know all kinds of stuff about him. We don't know anything about Delenn. Yeah. Because she doesn't have a backstory. She's a figurehead. And literally, this is supposed to be like, is she a worthy figurehead? Well, I don't know. I don't know who she is. He hasn't given her any nuance. And then you look at this moment between Veer and Jakar and the amount of nuance that they are given as characters. And there's so much space to grow because there's so much open space around them. Whereas Delenn is a known quantity. She's just a woman under a microscope. And that's all she is so far. Because Veer finally, after a very emotionally charged, feels like a relative, maybe like half an hour in the episode. He's literally standing there and he's like, I'm sorry. I wish there was something that I could do, but I tried telling him, but they wouldn't listen. They never listen. And I'm sorry. And Jakar does not say anything. And then he goes to get off and he turns around and he pulls a knife out and then he just cuts his own hand. And every time a blood drop drips off of his hand, he goes, dead, 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 dead. And this is such a good scene. Oh my God. And he goes, how do you apologize to them? And Veer just goes, I can't. And he goes, well, then I can't forgive you. And leaves. Oh, God, that scene is so good. Apparently in the British release, they edited out him cutting his hand.
Oh.
So but you would still see him do the blood drips, just didn't see him cut his hand. Oh my God. And that scene is so good. And it's such a breath of fresh air in the middle of all the rest of this. You are Delenn, the chosen. You tolerate all this only by your whim. At a word from you, all the hosts of heaven would descend and carry you away from them, away from this place, because you have a destiny. I just wrote, nope, do not like this. Really chose a man who killed and mutilated women to do this.
Yeah. To virtue signal.
Yes. But it's fine. He read a book about it. He feels bad about it, you guys. So it's going to be fine.
Don't you care about his feelings?
Don't invalidate who he is as a person. Don't take him out of context. God.
Puts it in context. It's worse.
It's worse. Somehow it's worse. Oh my God. I'm not going to read it. I don't care. But the only part is, but perhaps the world is right and Delenn is wrong. Have you ever considered that? Have you? And she's like, yeah, sometimes. And JMS directly addressed this. He's like, he's supposed to look shocked. Didn't he look shocked? He's shocked because he's never had anybody say that before. What? You really believe that every single person that he has ever interrogated before has not examined whether or not they're doing the right thing? You look me in the fucking eyes and you tell me that every person that this guy has interrogated over the last 500 years has just wholeheartedly, has it always been men? Has he only ever interrogated men prior to this? Because
Maybe.
the audacity of the mediocre white man, I'm sure, has not gone away in 500 years. But
Yeah.
you can't tell me that every single person who thought they were doing the right thing was like, no, I have not examined that.
I am 100% sure that I am doing the correct thing.
Yes, I have never looked inward and gone, is this worth it? Am I actually in the right?
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Oh, okay. It's the oversimplification. The entire scene is a straw man.
Yeah.
Everything about this is an oversimplification. Because you can't know what she would do in any given moment. Of course she's going to lay down her life for that guy.
What if,
she wants his dick.
Okay, here's an alternative way to evaluate. Okay. So Vorlons are super psychic.
Okay.
You do like a psychic thing and you put them in a bunch of scenarios. But I was imagining it like you're at the doctor's office and they keep one or two, but 1 and 2 are like whole scenarios that they have to like live through. And then do you go with 1 or do you go with 2? And then you can evaluate, okay, are you going to make the choice where you save a bunch of lives, but nobody knows you did it? Or are you going to save fewer people and have people celebrate you?
Yeah.
Right? Which one do you do? And you could do it in this whole like psychic landscape where they feel like they're actually there. And like, okay, now you can actually assess what actions would they take in all these hypothetical scenarios. Rather than just, who are you? You're not worthy.
Yeah.
You're such a bad person for thinking that you're the right person to lead the battle against the shadows.
Why don't you call it to the universe? Why don't you just call it? Let's call right now. Why don't you do it? Call out. And then he hurts her until she screams. Then he's like, listen. Oh my God, nobody answered. Crazy. Almost as if you're not the chosen one. The fuck is the scene? I kept saying I'm not going to go over it again and again and again, but here I am. Here I am going over it again. He's better. The show is better than this. It's better than this. And I don't know why I find this very triggering, but I do. And I think it's because I think here's how I think this translates better into a 2026 viewpoint. You don't have a man do this to Delenn. You have a woman do this to Delenn. You pick a woman from history and you have a woman, like you could have Joan of Arc. How about Joan of Arc?
Ooh, how about this? A person doesn't arrive. A device, like a crystal globe or something, right?
Yeah.
Delenn opens it, and then another Delenn shows up, and Delenn challenges herself.
That would work as well. Yeah. Or you have you want to use a
The
historical
symbology
figure.
of that would be a lot more impactful.
Yeah. Or you want to this symbolism. I think the word you're looking for there was symbolism. You want to use a historical figure. Why don't you use Joan of Arc, someone who died for their beliefs? Pick a woman from history who died from their beliefs.
Right, as a villain to the organization that they were fighting for.
Yeah. And then there's actually a legitimate reason for that character to be examining your motivations.
To have the chops to evaluate.
Because they already died.
Intentions. Yeah.
They already died for what they thought was right. So
so they know it. They know it.
Can you do it too?
Yeah.
Because then you're actually putting somebody in a place to recognize the type of person who is willing to sacrifice themselves for what they believe, as opposed to Jack the Ripper, who has literally fucking nothing to do with people who sacrifice themselves for what they believe. It's totally, completely, and unrelated. Jack the Ripper is unrelated, unless you're telling me that Jack the Ripper was sacrificing himself for what he believed.
He was doing what he knew were reprehensible things for what at the time he thought was a worthwhile goal.
According to JMS.
And the Vorlons showed him that even though he believed that he was doing a good thing, he was wrong. And so he has, based on that that imaginary backstory, he is in a position to evaluate other people who were as deluded as he was. I think that's...
I mean, I know that's where he's going with it,
Right,
but again, there's nothing historical prepackaged that gives us that belief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, he gives her 10 minutes of rest. How magnanimous. And then we go back to Jakar, and he's talking to the group of Narns, and he's like, okay, we're working on it. We're getting an underground railroad put together where we can like send in supplies and bring out communications.
And then the other Narn's like, but are you really?
Are you like, really though? He's like, I mean, I had to spend a lot of money on weapons and stuff. And he's like, okay, but like, how do we know you can get weapons to the Narn if you can't even get communication back from Narn? And my question here is, okay, then can you? Do you have communication from Narn? Do you have a reason to believe that you're going to be better at this?
Does anybody else in this room have a way to get somebody to Narn, collect a message, and get out? Is there somebody else that has more resources than Jakar?
Is there anyone else in this room who is not only the close personal friend of the security guy who runs Babylon 5,
but also the captain?
But also the captain who's in charge of Babylon 5? Anyone raise their hands? Oh, that's just going to be me, isn't it? So how come you guys think you're going to be better leaders than I am?
Yep.
I'm just saying, who was personally offered sanctuary by the leader of Babylon 5? Oh my God. I think that's me. So I get this as like he's got to consolidate power moment, but at the same time, like no legitimate contender to his power is present. So it's fine. He's like, oh no, I can't get any communication. It's all cut off. And they're like, okay, but like if you can't get word through, how are you going to get guns through? And he goes, if we are ever to, he could have really reacted violently in this moment. Instead, he's like, if we're ever to win back our world, we must be united and we cannot afford the luxury of conflict. Yeah. Which is truer words. Yeah. He's like, I'll do it. I'll get word from your family then. If that's what it takes, that's what I'll do. And we're like, cool, but if you can't, you'll step aside for another? Yes. If I can't, I will let someone else who also can't take over my place. Of course. I can do it in 24 hours.
He doesn't agree that he will step aside. He just says, you will have the message within 24 hours.
Yeah. Do you know what your problem is, Delenn? Maybe you should stop being so hysterical. Oh, wait, no, that's not the second part. I did see one. This feels relevant. It was a lady asking men questions, and it was questions that women are frequently asked in interviews or in a workplace and never get asked of men.
Okay.
And so one of them she asked was, how do you deal with being assertive in a situation without being seen as being mean or aggressive? And the guy was like, I've literally never had to consider that before. Because when a woman acts assertively, you're a bitch.
I've been asked a question like that in an interview.
Yeah.
But
do you on a daily basis ever consider ahead of time how to convey information, because you know if you state something as if you are an authority, you will be seen as being bitchy?
I do not.
No. Okay, well, that's a thing that a lot of women have to consider ahead of time is if I can't directly tell a man he's wrong. Very rarely and in very few situations can I directly state you are incorrect. I can do that with you because you know I'm not being rude, but out in life, never. I cannot hardly ever state, unless I don't want them to like me, and then it doesn't matter. But if I'm trying to maintain a relationship with a man, they can't be told that they're wrong. Right. You can only suggest that they can reevaluate their statement. You can go,
check your premises.
I did read an article that said this. Have you looked at that? So it's really interesting when he starts yelling at her, like, you're the flute that believes it's the symphony. You're the piece of machine that believes it's the whole of the machine. And it really just feels like you stepped into a leadership role. Did you really think you could be a leader? Is that what you thought you could do?
A leader is a part of the machine.
A little bitchy, don't you think?
All the pieces of the machine are required for the whole machine to operate.
Are you on your period? Oh my God.
Why are you so emotional?
Why are you being so emotional right now, Delenn? He's like, your only destiny is to be the nail that gets hammered down. Bang, bang, bang.
And holds the whole structure together?
Oh, you mean the thing that ties everyone together and that provides the structure its strength? Correct. Correct.
Thank you for telling me that. I am the pin that holds this entire structure
Who
together.
elected you the hammer?
You're right.
Who elected you the hammer? I didn't fucking vote for you. He goes, it's better to be she says, it's better to be what I am than what you are. And she tells him, you're a creature who's received pain and given pain and taken too much joy in its application. You have aspired to dreams and been disappointed because you are not strong enough or worthy enough or right enough. So you lash out at anyone who believes they can make a difference because it reminds you of your own failure. You have to prove they're just as bad and as flawed as you are. That is actually a very insightful thing buried in what is otherwise a very bullshit scene. Like, I really liked that.
Am I close, Mr. Sebastian?
Yeah, like, you're only like this because you couldn't be me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry you didn't have the grit it took to actually follow through. And he just goes, bang, which means, yes, you're right. And I don't want to talk about it because it would involve feelings. And I can't have feelings. And he's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm Delenn, bitch. And do you have a destiny? Yes. Then be a nice Minbari. Conform. And this is when he's like, I have your heart in my hand. Can you feel it slowing? Slowing. Okay. You really sent a guy who was willing to murder and dismember women graphically? And then you were like, it's fine. He can do this without supervision. It's totally fine.
Yep.
And then we go back to Jakar using his connections, which are way better than any other Narn on the station.
Yeah.
It's fine. Because he just immediately goes to Sheridan and he's like, hey, can you get like a word out for me? Like, can you get some communication for me so I can maintain my control over the Narns on the ship? And they're like, okay, yeah, no, they said they're going to be regular channels open within a couple of weeks. And he's like, no, not that. I need it now. And they're all kind of like, oh, okay, sure, no problem. And then Sheridan's like, what do you think to Garibaldi? And Garibaldi's like, I think he's in trouble.
What do you think? I think he's in trouble.
Okay. And he goes, no, I meant about using the Rangers for this job. I didn't say that. I didn't provide you any context. I just wanted you to know what I was saying. It's fine. And he's like, what? Send them into a war zone? I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what they signed up for. It's fine.
They've already been in war zones.
Just make sure that they have their super secret super mission pin. If they wear their pin, they're going to be fine. It's like a protection thing. He's like, it's about time they got ready. We can't keep planning and watching forever. I'm pretty sure they've already been smuggling stuff in and out, but it's fine.
Yeah.
And he's like, Jakar is a known quantity. If he loses credibility, we have no idea who the local Narn might put up as a leader. True. Correct. All right.
Yep.
Yes. No. Good idea. We have a vested interest in keeping him where he is. Tell the ranger to find these people and get a message from them. And they must, because immediately they do.
Yep.
Then we come back to Delenn, and it is Lanier running in after Lanier was like, oh no, we need to know she's doing the right thing for the right reasons, or like she could be corrupting the whole work. You know, women, they can be hysterical. I don't need to be tested, even though I'm doing all the work she's doing. I don't need to be tested. Sheridan is doing all of the work that she's doing, but he doesn't really need to go through all of this testing. Garibaldi is also participating in this, but he doesn't need to go through that testing. Sinclair is also doing all of this, but he doesn't need to be tested. No, Sinclair is also doing all of this, so he doesn't need to be tested because we all have dicks. And the dick is kind of like a compass needle. And if you just follow the direction it points, it always points you in the right way. And like, women don't have a compass needle. How can they know they're doing the right thing if they don't have a dick to follow?
They got their boobs on the front with nipples, but those can point different directions. And that's really confusing.
It's confusing. Oh, so they need to be given guidance like a tiny little baby child. And so that's what we're going to do. Anyway, he just went through all of that. And then he's like, oh no, wait a minute. When he said he was going to hurt Delenn, he's actually hurting Delenn. Oh no, who could have seen this come to pass? And apparently there's a deleted scene where he goes to Kosh and is like, I'm really worried about Delenn. This is taking a really long time. I'm worried about her. Yeah. And Kosh, like, I guess tells them where they are or what. I don't know. It's a deleted scene. I don't know the full context.
Okay.
But there is a scene where Lanier before this, where it would have set up Linear being like, wait a minute, is this more than I thought it was going to be?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, he shows up and he's like, oh no, Delenn. And she's like, oh no, you gotta go. Like, you can't be here. He's going to come back and you hear the like click, click of the cane. And I want to know, is he just in the back whacking it against a thing? Like, I'm coming. Glenier literally says, this is insane. What does he want? You knew the answer to that question. You said this was okay. You signed off on this.
Right. You encouraged this.
You encouraged this. You offered justification to Sheridan's face about why this was important. You pushed Delenn into doing this because her sad, soft female mind wouldn't know whether or not she was doing the right thing unless a man told her she was.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're all mad about it. You know what? I think I just secretly discovered the reason why I'm so angry at this part. Because nobody else goes through it. And I don't want any comments about how they go through it. We just don't see it. I don't care. I don't care because I don't see it. So it didn't happen. And apparently this was important enough to include it. But we didn't include testing anyone else. So it's fine. It's fine. It's not fine. She's like, I don't know. I don't know what he wants. He just keeps asking the same question over and over. How can I pass the test if I don't understand the rules? Almost as if it's a test you are designed to fail.
Mm-hmm.
And then she sends him off and he runs off and he actually goes to Sheridan immediately. And he's like, oh my God, he's doing exactly what I said he would do. And I'm mad about it. And he's like, Linear, what can I do for you? And he's like, defy Kosh. You're the only one who can. You're the only one who'll listen. So he doesn't go to Kosh.
He doesn't go to Kosh. Unless there's another deleted scene.
Where he goes to Kosh and Kosh is like, God, didn't you talk to Linear? You're interrupting my show. I've already told you guys what you need to know. There's just a note taped to the door that's like, no, I won't tell you where Delenn is. Fuck off. I'm watching my shows.
Sheridan told Delenn where to go.
He's watching episode 10,451 of General Hospital. He can't be interrupted right now.
He's got 300 years of backlog episodes.
I know, right? And he's lucky that he lives in a time when they catalog that shit, because otherwise he'd just have missed all those episodes of General Hospital. He's like, I can't right now. Somebody has amnesia. I can't help you. He's like, it's Ambassador Delenn, the Inquisitor. I think he's killing her. Okay, yeah, but earlier you were literally cool with her possibly dying. So, like, I don't believe this switch at all. And this is when Sheridan runs down and he's getting ready to kill her because she could never have answered correctly without there being someone else in the room.
Right.
You were doomed from the moment of your birth.
Right, because she has a destiny.
So why try?
And she knows she has a destiny.
Why choose me at all? My destiny was literally to believe I had a destiny just long enough for Jack the Ripper to kill me? That's my destiny?
The universe does show up to ensure she does not die.
If by the universe you mean Sheridan, then correct. Yes.
Sheridan is her universe.
Yeah. It turns out your community is what saves you in the end. Because Linear goes to get Sheridan. Sheridan comes to her and he's like, the final player in our little drama arrives at last. And this is when he turns around and he's like, oh, hey, what is she to you? And he goes, I don't have to answer your questions. Correct. Where's your warrant? He goes, no, you don't. Your turn now. And he like shoots him with a laser beam. And then when he wakes up, he's strapped into a rack. And he's like, you don't have to answer any of our questions. But there's no reason to exclude you from our deliberations. So, like, thanks, Linear, for sending me here so that I could also be tortured. Great. Thank you. You are linked at the hip, just as bad as she is. And I said, I knew that flirting was basically sex. I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
You're not just a dreamer. You're a soldier. How far are you prepared to go? How much are you prepared to risk? Are you willing to die friendless, alone, deserted by everyone? Oh, you mean like you? Am I willing to die like you? That's what may be required of you in the war that is to come. He's like, go to hell. This is hell, Captain. And you are its chief damned soul.
And he's just questioning
Drama.
Pain.
Drama.
Pain.
What about your family? What about your gods? What about truth? What about blood? What about right? What about wrong? What about your future? What about faith? It's better when you read it that way. What about sin? What about hell? What about death? What about enough? Apparently, he ad-libbed the word eternity because he knew Delenn would be shouting.
Mm-hmm.
And so he didn't, he just wrote, what about ... And so the guy, Sebastian, the guy who was playing the character, added in eternity.
Mm-hmm.
Because Delenn's like, will you fucking leave him alone? You're here to investigate me. And he's like, oh, a mutual admiration and sacrificial society. What is he to you? It's like, none of your concern. Don't listen to him, Delenn. Just get the hell out of here. Oh, my God. And so because they're both willing to die for each other, which they're just in general good people. So like, okay.
Right. We already knew they were willing to die for each other.
We have established they are exactly who they said they were. Okay. Yeah. He's like, oh, you would trade your life for his? I thought you had a destiny. Is that destiny not worth one life? And she's like, yeah, but if I fall, another will take my place. Lanier will take my place. And then you won't have to test him because he has a magical right-finding dick. Yeah, it's fine. But your cause, she's like, this is my cause, life. One life or a billion, it's all the same. He's like, oh, then you make the sacrifice willingly? And she's like, yeah. And this is when he's like, no fame. You're just going to be forgotten. And she's like, whatever. This body is only a shell. You cannot touch me. You cannot harm me. I am not afraid.
And he disappears.
Yeah. And then they come back and he's like, oh my God, are you all right? She's like, yeah, but you owe me dinner. I was about to die for you. This is when he comes back and he's like, oh, you passed. You passed, both of you. He hands them a gold star.
Good job.
Good job. You passed. Passed what? And I wrote, where have you been? What do you mean passed what? This stupid fucking test that we've all been subjected to. It's like, how do you know the chosen ones? No greater love hath the man that he lay down his life for his brother. Not for millions, not for glory, not for fame. Kind of telling that he lay down his life for his friend to he lay down his life for his brother. Putting that out there. Not for millions.
Probably different translations of the Bible.
Maybe. Yeah, it could be that. In the dark where no one else will see. I remember hearing this sentiment. Like, I remember seeing the scene before. I don't remember that it being Jack the Ripper. And I remember liking the idea that the ultimate test of whether or not they were right to lead people was whether or not they were willing to sacrifice themselves for the cause that they had chosen.
Yeah.
And like that, I can get behind.
Yeah.
Right? I think we can all get behind. Like, if you believe in a cause and you're going to fight for the cause, then you have to be willing to lose everything for it.
Yeah.
But watching it this time through, I'm like, there's so many more elegant solutions to this.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's sad to me because the rest of the end of this series the end of this season was so strong. And then this one feels like it cheapens it. He goes, when the darkness comes, knows this, you are the right people in the right place at the right time. How does he know that? He spent what? An hour and a half? How long has she been there? We don't know.
Well, they've been observing Delenn and Sheridan for years. So he knows all about them, ostensibly.
Yeah. But all he found out was that...
And so this is just to reaffirm that, okay, like, the way they've, I guess, the observations that have been recorded of Delenn and Sheridan, are they just putting on a show, or would they actually sacrifice themselves?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. When push comes to shove.
They would sacrifice themselves for each other. For each other. I mean, the real test would have been a rando.
Yeah.
Hey, I pulled this girl in off the Zocalo. I think she's kind of not cool. If you'll die in her place, I'll kill you instead. And then I'll save her.
Mm-hmm.
Would you do that? I mean, that would be an actual test of how far she's willing to go, because she knows that Sheridan is the leader of Babylon 5, that they need a leader of Babylon 5 who is sympathetic to the cause, because that way they can use Babylon 5 as a jumping off point for all further war efforts.
Right.
So, of course, she's willing to die instead of letting him die, because if he dies, her cause dies too. So her staying alive is pointless.
Right.
So, of course, she'd be willing to die for him.
But a sympathetic leader of a sympathetic authority in Babylon 5 is going to be harder to replace.
Yeah. Then some random from the Zocalo that he's like, I'm going to kill her in front of you unless you agree to die instead.
Yeah.
There's your question. What is she willing to die for? Where's the line?
Do you put your grocery cart back?
The ultimate expression of morality. If there's no one watching, do you put your grocery cart in the cart corral? Or do you leave it wherever?
Or do you just leave it in your parking spot or the parking spot next to you or pushed up on the median?
Yeah. That's your good question. That's a better question.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many other ways to gauge morality besides, would you die for the hot guy you've been dating and who's also vitally important to your cause? Anyway, this is when we come back and it's Ivanova and Sheridan in the CNC. And Sheridan must be feeling like he needs a minute because he's in his playpen with all the beep boop buttons. We haven't seen him in there in a while. And this is when he's like, Ivanova, how extensive are our history files? And she goes, Earth or alien? And he's like, Earth, 19th century England. And then they look up Sebastian. And then we cut to Jakar with his Narn buddies, and they're getting a message from Narn, from somebody's mom. And she's like, we're fine. We just found out that your father's alive. Thank Jaquan. We miss you and hope you're well. Try not to worry. We will survive. You've kept your promise. My family is alive. Thank you. We will not question you, Jakar. We are with you. Okay, so that plot line is wrapped up. The other plot lines more or less
Jakar
wrapped
has
up.
maintained his position of authority,
Which he never should have been in jeopardy, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. And then we come back, and it is Sheridan talking to Sebastian. And he's like, your ship's ready to go, taking care of all your clearances. Oh, by the way, I did a little digging. And I confirmed that you did live on Earth, and you disappeared November 11th, the morning after the last in a string of murders in the West East End. The city was drowning in decay and chaos.
blah, blah, blah.
And immorality.
Blah, 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 blah. The end.
Remembered only as Jack. You're like, please stop talking about this. I will. I'm done. I'm never going to talk about it again because I really hope that nothing ever comes up like this again. What if the next episode was the Native American mysticism episode?
Mm.
And then the episode after that was the a meteor is going to crash into Babylon 5 and we all think we're all going to die. And so we have to confront our own mortality. And what do we do with it episode? And then the one after that is Sheridan has amnesia and he has to reevaluate his life based on the perspective of someone who doesn't remember his own history episode. And let's just get them all out of the way. Okay. Let's just get all of them out of the way. And then there's the time jump episode where he gets stuck in a time loop of reliving the same day over and over again. And he has to evaluate his own choices. And there's like a major crisis at the end. And he has to decide whether or not it was ever actually avoidable. Yeah. And then there's the alternate reality episode where he wakes up and everything is different. And then at the end, he realizes it was all a dream.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Or the musical episode.
The musical episode. Always a good one. Yep. Mm-hmm. The, oh my God, I'm trying to think of all the good ones. I think that pretty much hits all the highlights. We haven't done them all yet. I think we should get them all out of the way now. And then JMS can be mad about how everybody knows they're a trope and they point out that they're a trope. And he's like, you're not supposed to notice that they're a trope. We'll just do that for the next 17 episodes. How about that? The entirety of season 3. Now we got too much to do in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Because shit's about to hit the fan. In a big way. And then we'll be all hands on deck doing lots of plot related things. We won't have time to have Jack the Ripper come and interrogate only the women leaders of the resistance anymore.
Right.
Oh, it's fine. I'm done with it now.
I'm skeptical.
You're like, no, because I'm going to have to live with you. You're like, this is worse than my own mustache poking me in the eye. It's fine. Does that mean Babylon 5 doesn't have a telepath right now? Because Lita Alexander
Right.
left.
Yeah.
Talia got kicked off.
I'm wondering if has there always been only one commercial telepath?
I think
Or
human.
Or are there other? That's
I think
a good
there's
point.
only one human one. I want the rest of them all to be the weird Centauri ones with the veils. They just like stand behind you and heavy breathe.
But do they do the same thing of sitting in on corporate negotiations? Like
they're
contract
Centauri.
negotiations?
That's literally their only job. Sitting in on corporate negotiations in a mystical and regal way, obviously. I don't know. Anyway, that thought occurred to me.
That's a big loss to the business offerings of Babylon 5 as a business platform.
Right. Because you don't have someone to sit in there and keep you honest.
Right.
Plus, they used her sometimes for like political negotiations when they were negotiating treaties and things. So, like, you could have her sit in if you were negotiating with Londo.
Right.
And have her be like, nope, he's going to take over your world anyway. Even if you...
He's lying.
Oh, no. Don't give up your nukes because he's just using this as a way to disarm you. Yeah, it won't guarantee your safety, actually.
Yeah.
All right, I think this is probably a good place to leave it. And I'm sorry I was angry for this whole episode, but I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at the past version of JMS who wrote this episode. And I'm angry at Jack the Ripper for still being around despite the fact that, I mean, oh my God, you guys, there's so many worse serial killers. It's just because it's unsolved. And every 5 years, we're like, we solved it. Okay, that's really great. I don't know. Check out The Five by Haley Rubenhold. It's really good.
Yep. It's good.
We live for the one.
We would die for the one.
Until next time, friends.
Bye.
Bye.